What up, guys? It's Chris with Barbeque. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm starting off the weekend right. I'm doing a rib candy challenge. Now I know you may have seen this thing going around a lot, but this isn't that store-bought rib candy, which is delicious, by the way. This is actually homemade barbecue sauce made with candy. Now I know it might sound weird, but trust me, with the videos I've seen out there, this can turn really good or really bad. So I actually have to thank or blame Pickles Barbecue. He's the one that tagged me on this challenge. So if things go good, thank him. If things go bad, well, don't tell him I sent you. All right, so let's get this rib candy challenge started. Pickles, this one's for you. Let's go. All right, so let's get started with this. Now I should point out that today we're not going to focus on the cook itself, because you guys have seen ribs being cooked before, and I'm going to have some videos myself doing it. What this really is about the sauce. So I'm not going to focus a whole lot on the cooking. But how I am going to start this thing off, I have trimmed it up to the St. Louis style. I've taken off some fat. I have taken off the membrane. And also, here's a little tip. If there's a lot of clumped up fat on the backside, take a spoon. You can scrape that right off. Alright, so we're just going to do some simple seasonings. My first layer is going to be the AP rub from Killer Hogs. I know you all know what this stuff is. Basically, it's just a basic salt and pepper garlic base. Not going to do a real heavy coat of this. This is just for extra flavoring. Okay, get that in. Flip it. Alright. Now, I'm not going to do the second layer right now. What I actually am going to do is I'm going to let this layer sweat in first. And then we'll come back and do our next layer. So I'm going to pause here. I'm actually going to go light up the pit, and we'll come back. Alright, so it's been about 5 minutes or so. You can see how it's already drying up some liquid. So now it's time for our next layer. Our next layer is going to be the Cosmos Sweet Honey Pecan. This is one of my favorite rubs from Cosmos. But the reason why we're using it today is I'm focusing on that pecan. So once we get to the candy, you'll see where this comes into play. You'll sense the theme coming up. Alright. Kind of doing a medium layer here. So I just put this layer on, and you can already see how that color is changing and that moisture is coming out. This stuff is just absolutely beautiful. All right, we're still waiting for the pit to come up to temp, and when it's good, we're going to throw this on. All right, guys, it's time to get these ribs on. So we're running the pit at about 280. We're going to do it on the top rack. Look at these ribs, man. Look the color on that. All right. So I'm gonna put this in there. That. Make sure it's straight. All right. Close it up. Now this might be the last time that you see these. I mean, I'll probably check on them. But like I said, this video is not going to focus on the cook. It's going to focus on that rib candy sauce. All right. So now that the ribs are on, and you know they're going to take a while, about 3 or 4 hours at least, we can focus on a really good sauce. Now the sauce I'm using is just a base barbecue sauce, but I've done a little bit of playing around with it. So this is the rib candy challenge. So I know I had to use candy of some sort in it. I also started thinking, you know, what time of year is it? So here in Phoenix, it's still really flipping hot. I mean, it's almost September, and we're still in triple digits. So it's gonna be hot for a while. Still, regardless, it's almost autumn. And that means Halloween. I actually love Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays. Not only just because of the theme of the holiday, but growing up, my family always got together. We always had parties. We all had costumes, and we all had awesome food. So I thought, how can I merge barbecue with Halloween? So now with this rib candy challenge, I found out a way. I'm making candy apple barbecue sauce. Now, again, it might sound weird, but trust me, I've already made a batch of it. It's delicious. To make the sauce, you're actually getting 2 recipes for 1. Lucky you. First thing we're actually going to do is we're going to smoke some apples, because we're making a fresh smoked applesauce. Not only can you make good barbecue sauce, you can actually make a really good applesauce. I know some people are worried about the applesauce that you buy in stores for kids. I know I have a little one here, and it's really good, so use it for that. But then we're going to use that applesauce, and we're going to add some of these things. Come on. You know what these are. Everyone had a grandmother, and they always had these little things in a little dish. And you knew what they were, little caramels, and you were always afraid to just pop one in your mouth because you knew that, oh crap. You knew that as soon as you popped one in your mouth, you'd be chewing it for the next 10 minutes. But oh, they're so good. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make candy apple barbecue sauce. All right, let's get going. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take 4 Gala apples and slice them up. You want kind of maybe 1/2 to 1/4 inch slices, just so when you put them on the smoker they won't disintegrate too fast. And you can use any variety of apple you want. I'm using Gala. Obviously, if you want to go traditional for candy apples, use Granny Smith, whatever kind you want. So that's the thickness we're going for. And when you get to the core, don't worry about if you get that centerpiece. It's fine. It's not going to work. It's not going to matter in the end. But obviously, you don't want any seeds. And when you got the core, just go ahead and hack off these 2 end pieces, leaving that. Okay, do that for the rest of them. So our pit is still running at 280. We have our ribs on. I actually, when I open it up, you'll see I actually have another set of ribs in there. I have a comp coming up in 2 weeks. I'm just doing some practice runs on, so that's what that is. I put the apples on a metal rack just to make it easy, because I am using that upper rack, so this just makes it easier to go in and out. And we're just going to throw them in. Alright, now I'm not worried about juices from the ribs falling down on the apples. That's just going to add flavor, and if you're worried about the juices from the raw meat, it's going to be cooked out anyway in the sauce. So. Alright, we're going to let these sit for maybe about ½ hour. I'll have the full description of the recipe we're using down in the description below. But here are all the ingredients we're using for our homemade candy apple barbecue sauce. Alright, the apples just came in off the smoker. And you can see some of the juices from the ribs did drip on. And as I said before, that's perfectly fine. But I just wanted to see how they changed. So they're on the smoker for about 40 minutes actually. You can see how they browned up, edges curled. They have gotten a little softer, get some pliable. So more important thing is these guys got some smoke, they got some tenderizing, and now for the next step of the sauce. Okay, so what you want to do is over medium heat, you want to put your apples with 3/4 cups of water. 1/4 cup white sugar, and then 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Feel free to add nutmeg, anything else you can think of. Allspice would be good. Just mix this around. We're going to cover this, let it just simmer for about ½ hour, and then we go to the next step, and we're on our way to barbecue. right, it's been about 35 minutes. Check these out. Okay, that's exactly what you want. So probably about 15 minutes in, I turned the temp down to maybe about low, maybe a little above low. But this is what you're wanting. You're wanting them to get really soft and pliable. And you see how that brown just stayed consistent. So that brown's not just from the cinnamon. That's from the smoke as well, because you saw that it had that brown hue coming off the smoker. So, all right, from here we're gonna throw them in a blender. I don't need to show you guys how to blend this thing up. Literally, just toss this in a blender. And if your blender has it, the setting I use on mine, it's called baby food. Basically, you don't want to pulverize it, but you also don't want big chunks either. So. You know what applesauce looks like. This is exactly what you made. So throw it in the blender, get it mashed up, and then we'll go on to the next step with barbecue sauce. The next step is really not rocket science. You throw everything into this pot and you cook it over medium. So let me just get everything in here, all right? So after it came to a simmer, I go ahead and pull the lid off, so that you could evaporate, because you don't want this to reduce it on a little bit. If you guys have one of these, use it, because obviously there's going to be some splatter. That just helps clean up later. But this is what it looks like. So it's been about 35-40 minutes, I think. So it has reduced down. Everything is liquefied, blended well. Alright, what I'm going to do, and this is not required, I just like a smoother sauce. I'm going to run this through a sieve or a strainer into another bowl. That way, if there's any big particles, like parts of the apple skin, like right there, or anything else, it gets caught. I'm not going to show that because you guys can figure that out. But okay, this sauce is done. So the next time you see it, it's going to be going on some candy apple ribs. Ribs are ready to be racked. It's been 2 hours 55 minutes. I'm not going to tell you what cooked to a time, because the time depends on your conditions, the meat, the grill, everything. So you always cook the color, and this color is absolutely beautiful. All right, so ready to wrap. So you can see the bend has a decent bend. Got some good pullback on there. All right, so next time we wrap. So what I have is a light layer of light brown sugar, some parquet butter, a little bit of agave, and I did another sprinkle of our sweet honey pecan, and I did a light sprinkle of some cinnamon. All right, so go meat side down there. Check your bones, make sure there's no sharp bits that can pop through the foil. Okay, there's not. Okay, now for the back side, we're going to do a little bit more light brown sugar, not very much. And I am kind of doing this in my competition style, but I'm still trying to reinforce those apple and caramel flavors. Right. A little more brown sugar. A little more parquet. And the reason why I use this, real butter over high heat tends to break down a little bit, so I don't want to do that, so that's why I use that butter. A little more honey, just a little bit. A little bit more of our rub. A little bit more of cinnamon just to enhance that flavor we're going for. And then some moisture with our spritz, which again was apple juice and apple cider vinegar. Alright. Now you wrap tightly. So the best thing I've found is kind of come up on each side, meet in the middle, and do a fold. Another fold. Because you want this to be tight. Fold, and tight against the meat. At the end, kind of just crease. Crease up. You want this to be tight because you don't want the steam, you want the braise. Alright, that's it. So again, we're just shy of 3 hours. I'm going to put this back on the grill. I'm guessing probably another hour. Alright guys, we're on to the next phase. So ribs have been on for about an hour and 10 minutes wrapped. And they are good. I just probed them. They are probe tender. Got some shiners going on, but that's okay. Oh, look at that. Alright. So now we're going to be doing the sauce. So here's the sauce we've been making. Just gonna brush it on. Now I'm not doing this for competition, so it's gonna have some brush marks, messy, doesn't matter. Cooking for home. Alright, do the front side, and actually I'm going to put it here so I can go straight out to the cooker. I still want that juice on the back. I'm telling you, this sauce smells amazing. You can just get that hint of the caramel. It's a little thicker than most barbecue sauces, but that's okay. That's the whole part of the rib candy. It sticks to the ribs a little bit better. Alright, don't want it to be too thick. We can always add some on after. I don't like a lot of sauce when I'm eating it anyway, so. Alright, I'm going to put this back out of the smoker. About 15 minutes just to let the sauce set. And we'll be giving it a try. Alright, here they are, guys. This is the candy apple ribs. I gotta tell you, I have never seen a sauce set like this has. Normally it still is kind of liquidy and glistening. This looks like it's another layer of just flavor. I mean, you can see the specks of the apple, and it just looks thicker. I mean, it just okay. I got cut into this thing. All right, let's try this. Oh, one of these spoons is trying to escape. All right, cut one of these open. Cuts perfectly. Oh yeah, nice smoke ring on that. Let's show you. Oh, just look at that. When you squeeze it, oh yeah, that's juicy. All right, I know it's gonna be hot, but I can't wait. I got to try it. All right. So again, not competition, cooking at home. Pull off the bone rib, man. Let's pull it right off. All right. Hey. So it's definitely barbecue sauce, but at the front you have the apple taste, but then as the spices creep in of the apple sauce, you get that light caramel note. It's kind of like that toasted nut note. It's really good. All right, pickles. I hope I met your challenge, and hopefully I outdid you. Let me know, all right? So these are my candy apple ribs for the Rib Candy Challenge. Next up, I challenge you to this. Come up with a sauce using a candy, and let's see what you come up with. All right, guys, keep grilling.